Karoline Leavitt, the youngest White House press secretary in history, is preparing for a significant challenge. Just days ago, veteran Hollywood comedian Rosie O'Donnell appeared on a live talk show, mocking President Trump's marriage to Melania. O'Donnell called him an emotional con artist who can't hold a family together. The attack was directly aimed at Trump, someone Leavitt fiercely supports. For her, this isn't just a Hollywood jab. It's an attack on the values she and the president stand for, and she won't let it go unanswered. Before we dive into the details, make sure to comment where you're watching from and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the latest stories. The studio lights shine brightly as the murmurs of the audience fade. Host Jake Sullivan steps into the spotlight, his professional smile hiding the tension in his eyes. "Welcome to today's talk show," he announces, his voice booming. "We have two special guests tonight. Our first is veteran comedian Rosie O'Donnell." The audience erupts in applause mixed with boos from the MAGA crowd. Rosie walks out confidently from stage left, her strong presence commanding attention as she raises the mic, ready for battle. A smirk spreads across her face as she locks eyes with the audience and waves. As Rosie takes the stage, the room feels charged. "Jake, I hear Trump's little MAGA girl is coming to defend him," she begins, her mocking tone drawing laughter from her supporters. But before she continues, she pauses. "Let me remind you of the truth you need to hear," she says. "Donald Trump is the biggest emotional con artist America has ever seen. He's had 3 wives, Ivana, Marla, and now Melania, and I bet she hasn't genuinely smiled since their wedding day." Laughter fills the air, but MAGA supporters shout, "Let's cut her mic." Rosie isn't deterred. She gestures for silence, then turns to Jake Sullivan, who attempts to speak but is ignored. "Jake, have you seen Melania at public events? Her face is like a wax figure. She's probably screaming inside. Somebody get me out of Mar-a-Lago." The audience erupts again, with laughter and curses filling the air. Rosie steps closer to the stage's edge, pointing at the large screen behind her. "Don't just take my word for it. Look at this," she says as the screen comes to life. She presses a button and a homemade comedy clip begins to play. In the scene, Trump, with his signature blonde hair, stands next to Melania. A dubbed voice says, "Melania, honey, I just won the election again." Melania responds flatly, "Great, Donald, now win me an exit." The crowd bursts into laughter. Rosie's fans jump up, clapping, while MAGA supporters shout, "Turn it off, fake." The 2-minute clip takes aim at Trump's image, poking fun at everything from the Stormy Daniels affair rumors to a scene of Melania packing suitcases with a caption reading, "To Slovenia." As the screen goes dark, Rosie turns back to the crowd, hands on her hips. "That's the truth Trump doesn't want you to see," she declares. "He's a failure in his own family, a narcissist living off The Apprentice delusions, and Melania is his biggest victim." Her fans clap enthusiastically, with one holding up a "Poor Melania" sign, while MAGA supporters shout, "Trump's our president." Jake Sullivan, trying to regain control, intervenes. "Rosie, that was an impressive performance," he begins, but Rosie cuts him off. "No buts, Jake. I've watched Trump forever. 4 bankruptcies, cheated contractors, and now he's playing the perfect husband. I'm here to pop that bubble." She mimes stabbing an invisible balloon, and the audience erupts in debate. Rosie steps closer to the crowd, her voice resolute. "If Trump can't keep one woman happy, just look at Melania. Has anyone seen her truly smile? How can he keep his promises to America? I'm not just joking, I'm speaking for millions. He's conned you all." Her fans cheer loudly, one shouting, "Keep going, Rosie," while MAGA supporters raise their fists, shouting, "You're washed up." Jake Sullivan seizes a brief lull in the chaos. "Thanks, Rosie, for that lively performance," he says, his voice trembling but professional. "Now let's welcome our second guest, White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt." The stage lights shift, and Karoline Leavitt steps out from the shadows. Petite but radiating strength, her blonde hair shines under the lights, Her sharp eyes scan the studio as her heels click confidently on the floor. MAGA fans leap up, cheering, chanting her name, drowning out the boos from Rosie's supporters. The tension in the room is palpable. Leavitt doesn't wait for Jake Sullivan to ask a question. She waves off the microphone he offers, strides to center stage, and faces Rosie, just a few feet away. "Ladies and gentlemen," she begins, her calm voice cutting through the noise. "I just heard Rosie O'Donnell spew a pile of lies about President Trump, someone I'm proud to serve. I'm not here for Hollywood games. I'm here to defend the truth, the president's family, and the millions of Americans who trust him." MAGA fans erupt, clapping wildly, some waving MAGA forever signs. Rosie's supporters fall silent, a few crossing their arms, waiting for her response. Rosie turns to face Leavitt, unflinching. "Rosie, you think your tired jokes and cheap clips can take down the president? You're wrong. I've been with him from day one, as a White House intern through campaigns and to his re-election." "I know who Trump is," Karoline Leavitt declares, her voice cold and unwavering. "A man who built a family and a country with dedication you'll never understand." Each word she speaks is like a sharp blade aimed directly at Rosie. "You call him an emotional con artist. I see a man who's been with Melania for over 20 years. What about you, Rosie? 2 failed marriages and a dying career. Who's the failure here?" MAGA fans cheer loudly, shouting Karoline's right, while Rosie supporters murmur, some even booing. Jake Sullivan tries to regain control, his voice shaky. "Karoline, thanks for that strong start," he says. But Leavitt cuts him off, her gaze still fixed on Rosie. "No, Jake, I'm not done," she snaps. "Rosie's a washed-up comedian living off old fame, attacking others. She has no right to judge the president or anyone. Her circus act ends now, and I'm the one stopping it right here, right now." The MAGA crowd erupts in thunderous applause, drowning out Rosie's supporters' protests. Leavitt steps closer. To Rosie, her voice low but commanding. "Rosie, you messed up thinking you could attack the president's family without consequences. I'm not just the press secretary. I'm the voice of the Americans you've insulted with your lies. Trump didn't just win once, he won twice. Despite your Hollywood sneers, you're the loser here, recycling stale comedy that no one cares about." Rosie raises an eyebrow, gripping her mic tighter, visibly rattled. But Leavitt doesn't give her a chance to reply. "I'm here to defend the truth, and I won't let you turn this stage into your personal circus." She turns to face the crowd, her voice rising. "You deserve the truth, not cheap jokes." MAGA fans rise again, their cheers echoing through the studio while a sign reading "Karoline Rules" is raised. Rosie's supporters grow restless, some shouting, "Rosie, fight back!" Jake Sullivan attempts to mediate once more. "Karoline, Rosie, can we—" But Leavitt ignores him, her focus locked on Rosie. She cuts in again, her voice sharp as a blade, slicing through the tension in the studio. "Rosie, you just stood there mocking President Trump with that nonsense clip," she says, pointing at the screen that showed Melania packing. "You think those stunts are proof? I'll show you real proof, and it will tear your lies apart." MAGA. Fans explode with applause, while Rosie's supporters fall silent, some muttering in dissent. Leavitt moves to the center of the stage, her blonde hair glowing under the lights. "You say Trump can't keep Melania happy? Look at the facts. They've been married for over 20 years, a bond you couldn't handle." She turns to Rosie, her eyes piercing. "Why mock them? Because you can't stand to see others succeed where you failed. Your 2 marriages crashed. You don't know family except how to tear it down with words." MAGA fans shout in agreement. Karoline's right, while Rosie's face flushes, her hand trembling around the mic. Her fans yell back, "She's honest." But their voices are drowned out by the opposing applause. "You played that comedy clip for laughs," Leavitt continues, her voice firm. "But here's real evidence," she signals, and the screen lights up with a recent shot of Trump and Melania at the inauguration, hand in hand, smiling before millions. "This is Melania, not your imagined suitcase woman," Karoline Leavitt declares. but a first lady standing, strong with the president through every trial. MAGA fans leap to their feet, cheers booming, one even holding a Melania strong sign. Leavitt points at Rosie, her voice firm. You want to make them a joke, but that clip is just your jealousy, not the truth. Rosie opens her mouth, but Leavitt doesn't let her speak. Not done yet, she says, stepping closer. You call the president a con artist? You're the real fraud, Rosie. You promised viewers the Rosie O'Donnell show would be huge. It flopped, leaving your staff jobless. You swore your Rosie magazine would thrive. It tanked and you dodged the blame. The crowd holds its breath, and then MAGA cheers erupt. Karoline, Karoline! Rosie stumbles back, face red, hands shaking harder. Her fans try to counter, shouting, she's brave, but Leavitt shakes her head, smirking. Brave? No, that's failure. And you brought it here to smear others. Jake Sullivan interjects, trying to regain control. Karoline, Rosie. But Leavitt ignores him, facing the audience. Folks, Rosie wants you to believe the president's unworthy, but look at his record. Millions of jobs, a strong economy, things she's never contributed to. Meanwhile, Rosie has failed on every stage she's touched, from TV to her personal life. MAGA applause roars, one person holding a Rosie loser sign. Leavitt raises her hand for silence, her eyes never leaving Rosie. You say Melania is unhappy. I see a strong woman choosing to stand by the president because she believes in him. Something you've never done for anyone. You mock them because you're jealous of a love you've never had. Rosie tries to speak, but Leavitt cuts her off. You think those gags hurt the president? No, they just show how desperate you are to cling to fading fame. MAGA fans stand, their cheers filling the studio, while Rosie's supporters yell, Rosie, hit back! But their voices weaken. Leavitt turns to the table, her voice low but powerful. Rosie, you want to ruin their image, but I'll ruin your delusion that you belong here. Rosie stands there, face flushed, gripping the mic until her knuckles whiten, a mix of confusion and fury in her eyes. MAGA fans continue to clap, but her supporters refuse to back down, shouting, Rosie, fight back! Jake Sullivan, seizing a rare moment amid the chaos, tries to mediate. Karoline, Rosie, we... But Rosie interrupts, her raspy voice booming, cutting through the New York studio noise. This kid thinks she can school me on truth, Rosie yells, stepping toward Leavitt, pointing at her. I'll show you who's the loser here. Rosie raises her mic high, eyes blazing. You say I'm washed up? Who are you to say that, Karoline Leavitt? A 27-year-old Trump puppet who hasn't lived enough to know life? She turns to the crowd. I was here before she was born. I built my career with sweat and tears, not by riding Trump's coattails like her. Rosie's fans clap, but Leavitt stands still, her eyes sharp and unshaken. Rosie jabs a finger at her. You flash Trump and Melania. Pics. I don't care how long they've stood together. I care about what really happens behind Mar-a-Lago's doors. He's a cheat, an adulterer, and Melania knows it. She's just staying for the money. Rosie spits out, her voice sharp. Leavitt smirks, about to reply, but Rosie doesn't let her. What are you defending, Karoline? A guy who's gone bankrupt 4 times, accused by dozens of women, and now plays the perfect husband? I laugh at your truth. Rosie steps forward, her voice hard. You say I failed. Sure, I failed, but I don't pretend like Trump. I don't sell lies to a nation. Her fans leap up, cheering loudly, but MAGA roars in protest. Rosie turns to Leavitt, dragging her personal life into the mix. You brag about your strong family? Your husband's 32 years older than you, like Trump, huh? Loves control. You're his mini-me, Karoline, a little puppet for a narcissist. Rosie's fans laugh, one yelling, Rosie burned her, but Leavitt doesn't flinch. Her eyes gleam with cold confidence. Rosie, you want to go personal? Leavitt fires back, her voice low but cutting. I'm proud of my family. A loving husband and a healthy kid. You? 2 divorces, feuding with your own kids. You've got no ground to talk about mine. Rosie smirks, trying to regain control. Proud? You're just Trump's mouthpiece. Without him, you're nothing. At least I stood on my own. Didn't need a guy like Trump for fame. She faces the crowd, raising her hand. Folks, she's defending a fraud. I'm here to expose him. Trump's no family man, he's a family wrecker. Her fans cheer, but Leavitt steps closer, her voice firm. Expose what, Rosie? All you do is make up stories and laugh at people. That's all you've got. Trump built a family and a country, while you wreck everything you touch. MAGA fans stand chanting, "Karoline, Karoline." The showdown escalates, the two now just steps apart. Rosie yells, "You think I'm jealous? I don't need to envy a guy like Trump or a puppet like you. I'm telling the truth you can't face." Leavitt shoots back, voice sharp. Truth? Your truth is lies and cheap laughs. I face the truth every day, the truth that millions trust President Trump while you're just a has-been, clinging to faded glory. Rosie tries humor to strike back. You call me washed up? At least I had a prime, you're just Trump's shadow, gone when he falls. Her fans laugh, but Leavitt shakes her head, voice icy. A shadow? I'm the voice of truth. You're a relic. Rosie, Trump fall? He's stronger than ever while you're crumbling right here. MAGA fans cheer, one holding a Rosie Dunn sign. Rosie's face reddens. You don't get it, kid. I fight for justice, she spits. Leavitt cuts her off, voice cold. Justice? You fight for your ego and you're losing. Bad. MAGA applause drowns out Rosie's fans' weak shouts. Jake Sullivan jumps in, his voice panicked. Both of you, calm down, he says, but no one listens. Rosie yells, You can't silence me. I'll keep exposing Trump. Rosie fires back, her voice trembling but defiant. Keep going. I'll keep shutting you down, word by word. Leavitt replies, her tone calm but commanding. These people know. Who's real? MAGA fans stand again, their cheers filling the studio, while Rosie's supporters quiet down, some bowing their heads. Rosie gasps for breath, clutching her mic, her eyes flickering between rage and despair. She's thrown everything at Leavitt, attacking Trump, dragging in Leavitt's personal life. But Leavitt hasn't just held her ground. She's hit back harder. Jake Sullivan interjects, his voice frantic. Both of you, let's... But Leavitt raises a hand, stepping closer to Rosie, her voice low and sharp, slicing through the New York studio air. Rosie, you just tried to fight back, but all you've done is dig your failure deeper, she says, her gaze unrelenting. I'm here to end this farce right now. Leavitt turns to the audience, signaling for silence. Rosie, you call me Trump's puppet? Wrong. I'm White House press secretary, chosen because I speak truth, not because I needed a boost like you once did. She continues, her voice firm. You dragged my personal life into this. Leavitt steps closer to Rosie, her voice low but commanding. You say my husband controls me? No, Rosie. I control this stage, and I'm controlling you right now. Rosie stumbles, her voice breaking. You can't, but Leavitt doesn't let her finish. I can, and I am. You want to expose Trump? I'm exposing you. A loser living off lies and cheap laughs, with no right to stand here. Leavitt faces the crowd, raising a hand with authority. Folks, Rosie thinks she can take down the president with lame jokes and a garbage clip, but I'm here to tell the truth. Trump and Melania are symbols of strength. Strength she'll never understand because she's too busy failing. She points at Rosie. You say I'm a shadow? No, Rosie, I'm the light and you're the darkness fading away. America knows who won, and it's not you. MAGA fans stand again, their cheers booming through the studio. Rosie stands there, mic limp in her hand, eyes vacant. She mutters, I'm not losing, but her voice fades, drowned out by MAGA applause. Leavitt smiles, stepping to the stage's edge. Rosie, you were wrong. You wanted to destroy, I just destroyed you, and I'm done. The MAGA crowd cheers thunderously, one shouting, Karoline's the champ! Rosie's fans fall completely silent, some leaving their seats heads down, walking out. Leavitt turns back, giving Rosie one last look. Keep your mic, Rosie, but I've got the win. America knows who's real and who's finished. Rosie drops the mic on the table, her hands trembling, wordless, as Jake Sullivan calls for a break amid the chaos. The American Pulse's stage lights still shine on Karoline Leavitt, standing tall in the center, her confident gaze sweeping the audience. Rosie O'Donnell slumps in her chair, the mic idle on the table, her face buried in silence. MAGA cheers echo through the New York studio, the crowd standing and clapping non-stop, waving Karoline Rules and Rosie Done signs. But the battle doesn't stop within these four walls. It spills out, and the world explodes with instant reactions to Leavitt's crushing victory. Seconds after Leavitt lands her final blow, Twitter X ignites into a digital battlefield. Karoline destroys, Rosie rockets to global trending, overtaking every topic in under 5 minutes. Tweets flood in. Leavitt just wiped Rosie out. And this clip's gold. Rosie got KO'd by Karoline live. One user posts a 30-second video of Leavitt finishing Rosie, captioned, "When truth crushes comedy." Karoline's a legend. The clip hits hundreds of thousands of views, spreading like wildfire across platforms. MAGA fans tweet, "Karoline gave Rosie her last lesson. Trump's proud." While a neutral account writes, "Not a Trump fan, but Leavitt's unstoppable. Rosie had no shot." Outside the studio, MAGA crowds gather at the building's entrance waving, "Leavitt is the future," and "Rosie." Loser signs, they chant, "Karoline, Karoline," as passing cars honk in support. Small group of Rosie fans stands apart, holding Rosie's still queen signs, but their voices falter, drowned by the rival uproar. A passerby livestreams on TikTok shouting, "I just saw Rosie get crushed by Leavitt. New York's going wild." The video racks up tens of thousands of views, with comments like "Karoline's a tornado" and "Rosie's toast." Media jumps in instantly. Fox News cuts into programming for breaking news, with host Sean Hannity laughing. "Karoline Leavitt just schooled Rosie O'Donnell. This is truth-beating Hollywood lies." They replay Leavitt showing the Trump-Melania and Barron photo, praising, "She didn't just defend the president, she defended American family values." Meanwhile, CNN tries to spin it. Host Don Lemon frowns. Rosie tried to expose Trump, but Leavitt played too hard. "A tough loss," he says. Their take gets buried under Leavitt's support wave, and even neutrals admit Rosie was outmatched. Rosie exits the studio through an emergency door, head low, dodging waiting press. A reporter yells, "Rosie, any comment?" But she shakes her head, hurrying to her car, face pale. Her fans nearby try to console each other. One says she'll bounce back. Rosie can't lose forever. But online, they're mercilessly mocked. A tweet reads, "Rosie fans still defending? Leavitt shredded her. Deal with it." A meme spreads. Rosie slumped in her chair with the caption, "When you think you're queen, but Karoline dethrones you." The studio stays electric even during the break. Stage hands rush around, whispering, "Never seen a showdown like this one." Film crews backstage capture Leavitt stepping off the stage, swarmed by MAGA fans for photos. She smiles, shaking hands. Her voice is steady as she says, "We won, thank you all." The clip goes viral on Instagram with comments like, "Karoline didn't just crush Rosie, she crushed Hollywood." And the hashtag Karoline Rules dominates Twitter X alongside hashtags #YarnRosieAsh and Is Karoline. Tweets flood in. Leavitt just made Rosie history, and MAGA wins big. Leavitt returns to the White House the next day, greeted like a hero by staff. An aide tweets, "Karoline walked in and the room erupted. She's our warrior." She appears at a brief presser, smiling. "I didn't just defend the president on that stage. I defended the faith of millions of Americans." Rosie lost, and we won, she adds. Her statement replays across channels, cementing her as MAGA's unshakable voice. MAGA fans online hail her. "Karoline's the future. She crushed Rosie and made Trump proud," one writes. "Leavitt 2028, she's ready to lead." Rosie, meanwhile, vanishes from the spotlight. Sources say she canceled upcoming gigs and dodged interviews. A Variety piece notes, "Rosie O'Donnell was once a comedy icon, but after facing Leavitt, she may never recover." Her fans' voices fade, and the hashtag Rosie Done keeps trending, with memes and remix videos of her defeat flooding TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. A standout video shows Rosie dropping her mic with "Game over," hitting millions of views. Comments flood in. Rosie picked the wrong fight. Leavitt's unbeatable. A YouTube commenter writes, "This wasn't just a personal win. Leavitt represents MAGA's new generation, bold and relentless, while Rosie's the fading remnant of weak, outdated liberal Hollywood." A Breitbart piece calls it a symbol of America's divide, with Leavitt as MAGA's flame and Rosie as a gust that's gone. Even neutrals concede Rosie had no chance. Leavitt's too smart, too sharp. This clash wasn't just a TV fight. It marked Leavitt as a star and cemented Rosie as a permanent loser. Leavitt stands in her White House office, gazing out the window, more confident than ever. She knows she's conquered her biggest test, not just defending Trump, but carving her own legacy. Her phone buzzes with a text from Trump. "Karoline, you were amazing. Keep fighting." She smiles, ready for the next battles, while Rosie, somewhere in silence, knows she's lost, not just on stage but to the world. The story of how Karoline Leavitt destroys Rosie O'Donnell after she mocks Trump's marriage starkly reflects America's deep divide today, where politics, media, and social media collide to shape public opinion. In it, Leavitt, a young MAGA figure, faces off against Rosie, a liberal Hollywood symbol on the American Pulse stage. The fight's more than personal, it's a microcosm of cultural conflict. Leavitt defends Trump with facts, hitting Rosie's personal failures, while Rosie uses humor and emotional arguments to attack. The Twitter X explosion, Trump's praise on Fox News, and Rosie's post-loss silence show the power of media and public opinion in deciding winners. The lesson for real-life America is that in a polarized society, preparation, strategy, and narrative control are key to success, especially in public clashes. Leavitt won not just with sharp arguments, but by knowing her audience, using solid evidence, and staying cool, while Rosie let emotion take over. The advice: learn from Leavitt. When criticized, don't just react emotionally. Build a strong case, stay calm, and target your opponent's weaknesses. In today's social media-driven age, where the public picks sides fast, especially on platforms like Twitter X, controlling your image and message is what decides if you're a victorious Leavitt or a defeated Rosie. Prepare well, because in today's America, every night's a public stage. Don't forget to subscribe to catch epic showdowns, like Karoline crushing Rosie,